Hi, I'm Tony Guthrie, and I appreciate you taking a minute out of your time to take a look at this video. What I want to do is tell you my diverticulitis story. You probably were reading through the ebook that I put out, or you found this video through something else I've put out there, but you saw a link that said my diverticulitis story, so that must mean that you are interested enough to find out what I did, because you know as well as I do that diverticulitis is a terrible, terrible thing. If you don't have it yourself, you're watching this because you're watching it on behalf of someone else, because it is such a terrible thing. I'm in my 60s now, but when I was in my 40s, probably mid 40s, 43, 44, somewhere in that area, I woke up one Sunday morning to get ready to go to my church. And when I tried to sit up out of the bed, I couldn't budge. I mean, as soon as I lifted up, the pain in my left side was excruciating. I'd never had anything like that before. I had no indicator that something like that was about to happen. It literally came out of nowhere. I mean, literally, as I tried to get up, it felt as though someone was just taking a knife and plunging it into my colon. And if you've had diverticulitis, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And fortunately for me, at that time in my life, I had a doctor who would make house calls. I mean, that's unheard of, but I did have that. And so my wife called him, and he came right on over. And he took him 30 seconds to determine that I had a diverticulitis flare-up, something I had never heard of before. I didn't know what it was. And he told me it was caused by poor eating habits, stress, any number of things can cause it, and that it's just an infection of the colon that leads to excruciating pain. And so he prescribed some of these antibiotics, which were awful. I remember they were Cipro and Flagyl, and both of them are really big horse pill-like things, and when I would take them, I mean, they were bitter on my tongue. When they started dissolving on my tongue, as soon as I put them in my mouth, it was bitter. And they gave me the worst indigestion, heartburn. They were awful. Now, they did kill the infection, and I was thankful for that. But he told me that I needed to come and see him in the office for a full examination. And so when I saw him a few days later in his office, he did the full examination and said, there's no doubt that you have diverticulitis. And here's the bad news. And once you get diverticulitis the first time, the likelihood is that you're going to continue getting it unless you make some pretty severe changes in your diet. He said, but even then, you're going to be susceptible for them for probably pretty much for the rest of your life. And he said, you can expect a flare-up every 3, 4, 6 months. And that proved to be true. Even though I changed my eating habits, I still had those flare-ups every 3 to 6 months. And they were excruciating. I would miss an entire week of work or activity because, again, when you have that kind of pain, you don't want to do anything. You just kind of lay around. Even walking around the house causes your colon to kind of, your stomach will bounce and your whole midsection will bounce, and it's awful. I just wouldn't wish it on anyone. But I also didn't like the effects of the antibiotics. They were awful. The indigestion and the heartburn and just the lethargic feeling that it made me have. I just didn't want to be told that for the rest of my life I'm going to have to be taking these huge, for 7 to 10 days, these huge antibiotics for the rest of my life every 3 to 6 months. But that's what was happening to me. I found out that every 3 to 6 months I was getting them, and this went on for several years. And I kept adjusting my diet, and just nothing helped. And so this was in the 90s, and the internet was just barely getting started at that time. And so there wasn't much information out there about what could be done about it. But a few years later, as more and more information was coming onto the internet, and I was getting sicker and sicker of taking these antibiotics, I just decided, there's got to be a solution out there. There's got to be. And so I started searching the internet, and I found all kinds of information about diverticulitis, what causes it and what makes it worse, and some things you can do to make it better by changing your diet. But I was looking for something that I could take naturally, a supplement of some kind that would help cleanse out my colon. Every website I went to said, take more fiber will help. And I did that, but it didn't. I kept on getting them. And my doctor and I kind of scratched our head as to, what's causing it, what could be. And he just attributed it to a number of different things. He said, you're just one of those people that's going to get it fairly often. And one day, though, as I was on the internet looking, I happened across a page of a guy who was marketing a particular product, this particular product right here. And fortunately for me, he put his contact information on the page. Instead of just like so many websites today, you don't really call anybody to get any answers to your questions. You just read about it, and then if you want to give it a try, you can. But this guy put his phone number on there and said, by all means, if you want to try this product or you have questions about it, give me a call. So I did. I called him. And I said, I'm trying to figure out what I can do about this diverticulitis stuff. And he kind of chuckled and he said, I get a lot of these calls. He said, because diverticulitis is very common. And he told me what I already knew. He said it's caused by stress, poor eating habits, just eating on the run. And he said, you're just not getting in your system. He goes, and fiber is one of the things you need, but that's not all you need. He said, what you need to do is flood your system with fruit and vegetables. And the right kind of fruit and vegetables. And he said, but you can't eat 10 apples a day. You need the equivalent of 10 apples a day and so many other vegetables. And I hate vegetables. That's the only problem. I can't eat a head of lettuce a day and romaine and spinach and all these other things that he was telling me that you really need. When you start getting diverticulitis, you really need to flood your system with lots of fruits and vegetables. He said, this is why I market this product that has all of that in it. It has all of the fiber in it, good, natural, wholesome fiber, and it has cold processed fruits and vegetables, which means they've taken the fruits and the vegetables, and instead of cooking them and cooking out the nutrients, because when you cook vegetables, you cook out the nutrients. He said they freeze dry them. They take the vegetables, they get them from organic farms, better than organic farms, and they bring them in and they freeze dry these fruits and vegetables, and they process them into a powder that contains all the nutrients. And he said, and that's what you need to take. You need to take this product. And he said, if you'll take this product, he said, I'm pretty sure that you'll never have the diverticulitis flare up again. And that was good news for me because, again, every 3 to 6 months, at least 2 times a year, and usually 4 times a year, going on for 5 years or so, I was getting these flare-ups. And they were just beyond awful. And, there's so many things in this product, so many fruits and vegetables. And look at that list. And I know you can't see it on the video, but man, there is a lot of it in there. And so I took his word for it and I ordered it. And he told me, he said, here's the good news. It has a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't like it, if you don't feel like it's working for you, then you can send it back and we'll send your money back. And that's all I needed to hear. I was willing to try anything. I was willing to pay any price. And at that time, it was a little over $50. Today, it's about $65, but it's a month's supply. And I drink it religiously every single day. I put a scoop in my protein shake and I shake it up. It doesn't have any flavor. It doesn't have any any side effects or anything. It doesn't have any aftertaste. It's just a powder. It's boring. It's not something I enjoy doing, but when I mix it up with a chocolate protein shake and shake it up, I just drink it down. And you have to drink it kind of fast because, again, it's just frozen fruits, vegetables, and fiber. And if you leave it in the liquid too long, it starts thickening. So I just mix it up in a protein shake and I drink it down. Lots of people mix it in juice. And some people do 2 scoops at a time, which is what I do once a day. Some people just do 1 scoop in the morning, 1 scoop in the evening. As long as you get 2 scoops in you a day, that's what you need to do. And this has been a miracle product for me. And so I would encourage you that if you have diverticulitis or any kind of issues within your colon, irritable bowel syndrome or anything like that, I would encourage you to order this. You can order it through the link that I have in the description. And you'll see the name of the product when you go to the link, when you click on it and go to my page. And I'll make a little bit of a commission, so just full disclosure. But here's the good news. You'll get your money back if you don't like it or if it doesn't work for you. And I would encourage you just to go ahead and order it. Try it in a protein shake. I mix mine with chocolate protein powder and skim milk. But if some people, like I said, they mix it in fruit juice, other different ways, put them in smoothies. The idea is just to get 2 scoops in you a day. Like I said, it has no flavor. It just is something that if you hate diverticulitis flare-ups or problems of the colon and the intestines as much as I do, you're going to want to try this product. So thank you for watching. And by the way, I haven't had a diverticulitis flare-up not 1 time since I've been on this product. This eliminated it. Now, it doesn't cure diverticulitis. I don't make a health claim of that it cures anything. I'm telling you that as long as I have been on the product, I'm telling you my story. As long as I have been on the product, I've not had a single diverticulitis flare-up since then. And it's been wonderful. So that's why I highly recommend it to you. And if you have any questions, my email address is also in the description below. You can email me and I'll respond to you as soon as I see the email. And I'll answer any questions you might have. Thanks for watching and have a great day.